Slow. Yeah, of course. All right. Shalom. Shalom. The Hebrew Israelites back again in this live lesson, bringing it out for the hopeful elect out there. Lord willing, everything's coming in clear. All right. Before we begin this lesson, we're going to face the east. We're going to give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah, Kodash. All right. Double honors to the elders and the apostles that we learned from. Those are the ones that taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. And those are the real prophets and the leaders of all Israel today. And you already know they are. You already know who we're speaking about, all right? I ain't even got to say the name. But shalom to you brothers out there on the highways and hedges, giving up your bodies a living sacrifice, showing your due diligence to make your calling and election sure. Shalom. Shalom to you Israelite sisters, you Akwaf that are in order, okay? Because a great humbling is on the way for you sisters that are out of order. I wouldn't say sisters, you demons that are out of order. The great humbling is coming. You know, it's been a long time coming, and that time is at the door, man. All right. So shalom to you sisters in order, you're precious, and to hell with the other ones, man. Shalom to you Israelites scattered abroad. It may look like these other nations. You might look like a so-called white man, Chinese man, Arab, or whatever other nation is out there. But if your seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you are indeed a Hebrew Israelite, because this thing ain't about color. As we teach time and time again, we're not the black Hebrew Israelites, as they like to call us, like to demonize us and slander our name and all that. We're just the Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. You won't find nowhere in the Holy Bible that says black Hebrew Israelites, man. That's just a term that was put on us to make us look like some kind of hate group, some kind of black power movement, and it ain't nothing to do with that, man. It's about, this is a spiritual thing, not a carnal thing, okay? When you're talking about color, which we don't teach about color, we teach about seed line. When you're talking about color, that goes into carnality. We're spiritual men up here, all right? So shalom to you Israelites scattered abroad. Now, today's lesson, we're going to speak about the glory that is coming to the servants of the Lord, man. You know, we don't really bring this out enough, you know what I mean? But there is coming a time where, you know, great glory is coming to the servants of the Lord, and not just any servant, the ones that are truly of the elect, which we don't know who that is yet. That's why we call ourselves the hopeful elect, okay? We are doing this in hopes to be a part of the elect, okay? Because to be of the elect is a great position to be in, man. That's a, you know what I mean? That's the lottery of all lotteries, let's just say, right? So, you know, there's many people that call themselves servants. So this ain't talking about any old servant, man. This is them that are going to be tried as golden fire and are going to be come out successful. They're going to endure to the end and be delivered, the true servants of the Lord, all right? So glory is coming to you, and we're going to bring out a few precepts, and Lord willing, this be edifying to you, hopeful elect out there that are listening, all right? And this is kind of a motivational lesson, okay? And we're gonna speak about how, you know what I mean, people ain't gonna accept you due to the depth of the knowledge that we bring out. You know, these people that are a part of this world, they're shallow. They're shallow people. They're shallow-minded, and their mind doesn't go very deep. You know, they're carnal brute beasts, and your spiritual level, your vibrational level, or whatever you want to call it, is you're on a higher level than these people out there. So therefore, you know, you bringing out these prophecies and stuff goes way over their head, man. Meaning you're a high value man walking amongst fools, okay? And the world don't recognize you for who you really are yet, but they will in due time. And that's the, you know, that's the faith of that's the patience that we have and the faith that we have inside, you know. The Lord has blessed us with faith, which is a gift, okay? The rest of these people, they ain't got no faith, man. You know, all the faithful, all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness, man. The scriptures speak about, yeah. Okay. So there's no particular order I want to bring this out. I got a few precepts written down that I do plan to bring out in this lesson, but there's no particular order. So we'll just kind of flow in the spirit and bring it out, man, as it comes along, man. You know how the spirit works, right? I think first off, I want to start with the book of John, chapter 15 and verse 16 to get it started, in all honesty, because us coming into the knowledge of this wisdom, this truth, this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is a gift. It's not something that we just, you know what I mean, we figured out. We did our we did our studying and cracked the code, and with our great wisdom, we figured out the truth. You know what I mean? It ain't that, you know, the Lord predestinated you to understand this truth. And this is a stumbling block to Christians, man. I've had this conversation with a Christian pastor before about predestination of his elect, but he couldn't get his head around it. No matter how many precepts I brought out, it was hidden to him, you know, which goes into what I said earlier, how you're on a higher level, you that are in the congregation of the living, you that are amongst us, you're on a way higher level than these carnal brute beasts, especially these people that think they know the Bible in the Christian church, man.
Yeah, and just to add as well, that goes to show you that the Lord has clearly blinded them. You know, it's amazing to see when the scriptures are brought out and they're explained to us, we get it. You know, it makes sense. But then you say the same scriptures, and people just it just doesn't register. It just goes to show you that the Lord has blinded them. You know,
that's it. You know, I was gonna start at verse 16, but I think I think starting at 14 is more suitable because there's more meat on here. Right, so this is the book of John, chapter 15, and I'm gonna start at 14, right? It says, ye are my friends, and this is red letter Yahushai, who the world ignorantly and blindly, stupidly calls Jesus Christ, right? His real name is Yahushai, which goes into the Hebrew, which means he is the deliverer, basically, right? You know, when you call on Jesus, that when you go into the meaning of that word, it means earth pig. You know, it's very disrespectful and blasphemous to be calling him that. Anyway, that's a side note, man. John 15 and 14. Ye are my friends if ye do whatsoever I command you, right? Keep the law to the best of your ability, right? Which Christians say the law is done away with. You ain't friends of Yahushai, who you call Jesus. He doesn't know you. He doesn't like you. He doesn't love you. You're not of his brethren, right? It says, henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth. But I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father, I have made known unto you. That's why I said our knowledge that we possess is a rare gift. You basically that are in this congregation that know the name of the Lord, you believe on that name and the power of that name, right? You magnify that name, and you also know the mysteries. You are a rare breed. You are a high value man and woman. Okay. I ain't forgetting about you, Aquaf, too. All right. You are a rare breed, man. So live like a king. You know what I mean? When these Edomites try to disrespect you, hey, man, you're on a way higher level than these peasants. They're future slaves. You know what I mean? Seeking their love and their validation and all that. Why would you do that to a damn peasant? As a pig, a dog, right? So verse 15, it says, henceforth, no, verse 16, Salakia, right? John 15 and 16. Ye have not chosen me. This is the point. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you. So like I said, it ain't by your great wisdom and your skillful ability to do your research and all that that you cracked the code and figured it out. You know, this was revealed unto you through predestination. It was always part of the Lord's story upon the creation of this earth right? This universe, everything that exists, you was already in the Lord's mind as one of his special souls that he was going to place in the earth. And you was going to come back into that knowledge of who you are in these end times, regardless of the fact that you was living like a nigger, living like the rest of these brute beasts in the world in your prior years before coming into this knowledge. It ain't about where you was, it's about where you're going. Okay. So this is related to what we're going to bring out in this lesson, because the world don't recognize you for who you are. Just like Yahweh Shai, they said, oh, he was a carpenter's son, you know. That's the reputation they put on him, because he had no respect among the people who he grew up around, right? So he didn't do many miracles around that area, you know, in Galilee, all right? But anyway, that's a side note, right? Let me start from the top again, right? John 15:16. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you that ye should go and bring forth fruit. Right? So us producing these lessons, edifying the sheep, you know, anything we do toward the ministry is considered our fruit. And the Lord says that you will know them, meaning the true servants, by their fruit, because there's many people that are in this Hebrew Israelite movement, so to speak, right? Calling themselves prophets or servants of the Lord, but they ain't all servants, man. And this is one thing that, you know, you learn as you mature in this walk, man, because I ain't gonna go into that. I'm going way off topic, but you know, I've recently witnessed how much that myself has personally grown in this walk, man, through stumbling upon, you know, posts that I put on Facebook years ago when I first came in this knowledge, man. And I looked and I was amazed at how much I've grown. It just kind of was like a faith booster to me, right? While a lot of people are staying in the same level, dormant, man. You know what I mean? Because the Lord ain't dealing with them. If you ain't growing in this walk, the Lord is not dealing with you, man. Because there's so many levels to this. When you first come into this knowledge, you think all Hebrew Israelites are the same. You just want to love your brother. You just want to save black people, you know? And that's not what this walk is about. And it takes time to really get the grasp and the understanding of that, man. Anyway, let me get back onto the point, man. Salakia for rambling. Says, ye have not chosen me, John 15:16. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you. So the Lord chose us. We didn't choose him. It says, and ordained you that you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that you continue on this path. You don't fall out. You don't bug out. You know, the scriptures say, them that endure to the end shall be saved. So your fruit has to remain, man. There's many people that have brought out good fruit in the past, and then their tree withered and died, man. And then they started calling on some other name, or they went back into Christianity, or they kissed the ring of Vocab Malone. You know what I mean? On his podcasts and all that, just bugged out, man. So it says that whatsoever ye shall ask of in my of the Father in my name, keyword my name, he may give it to you. I might as well read on a little bit. It says, these things I command you, that ye love one another. And that's by bringing out this truth, you know, being a faithful servant, right? Being diligent as you can. It says, if the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. If ye were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, meaning you're that blessed soul, man. You're that one in a couple of million, man. Because the amount of servants, true servants of the Lord in this congregation is very few compared to the number of the children of Israel. It's like a wave to a drop. You understand? So it says, therefore the world hateth you. So they hate us because their spirit is contrary to what we teach. You know what I mean? We teach that you need to separate from your enemies. We identified who our enemies are, but yet these people have a problem with that. They say we're racist, we're hateful, hate preachers. They hate us, but it's not us they hate. They actually hate the one they think that they love. It's crazy. It's a crazy plot twist, man. It says, remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you, because we are friends of Yahushua, man. You know, we're servants, but he considers us friends, the true servants, right? And we walk in the same footsteps, in the same path, you know, roughly that Yahushua walked in, man. It says, if they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. And I'll leave that there, man.
Yeah, I wanted to bring out a precept. You know, like my brother was talking about earlier when he said that he had a conversation with a pastor, and basically, no matter how much he brought the scriptures out, right, the pastor just couldn't get it. Right now, going back to John 15 and 16, where it says, "Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you." Right, that goes to show you that that pastor wasn't chosen, even though he's the one, you know, supposedly bringing out the ministry, which he's not, clearly, because he wouldn't accept the truth, or he couldn't accept the truth, right? That leads me to my next precept. This is in the book of John, chapter 10, verse 25, and it says, Yahushua answered them, I told you, and ye believed not. So obviously the scriptures were being brought out, like the precepts were being brought out to show the pastor, you know, the truth. However, the pastor believed not, because he wouldn't receive it, right? It says, the works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness of me. It says, but ye believe not, because ye are not my sheep, as I said unto you. So that pastor was not a part of his sheep, a part of his flock. Although the pastor believes that he's following the correct way, he's not a part of the flock. He's not special or chosen in that way, right? Verse 27, which is the point, it says, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. So the ones that receive the understanding of these scriptures, they straight away it's going to click. So a lot of Israelites out there that are watching, whatever, you know, when you heard the truth, there were certain things that just, yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, that sounds right. You know, instantly, it didn't take a lot of convincing. You know, you may have had to do some research to look into certain things, but as soon as you realize the truth, you received it, you accepted it, right? Whereas this pastor, when we're bringing out the scriptures, it just in it one ear and out the other, you know. So that just goes to show you that the Lord chooses you. It's not you that chooses him, because that pastor, I believe, in his mind, probably thinking, yeah, I chose to follow JC, you know, but his doctrine is completely off. He believes that everybody could be saved, when that's not the case. That's not what the scriptures say, right? So I just wanted to bring that precept up, because it lined up nicely with that John 15 and 16 verse.
Yeah, kind of. And speaking on how, you know, when we first heard this truth, it didn't take much persuasion. You know, we ain't a fool and just blindly following anything we hear, or anybody that tells us anything. We did our due diligence and our research to find out whether what we were being taught is true, which you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? Even we teach that. You know, we don't expect people to just blindly follow us. We could be anybody out here. Scripture said many false prophets shall rise in these end times. You got to guard your salvation with fear and trembling. Make sure you're not deceived, man. But the true elect are going to gravitate toward his voice. You know, this like scripture he brought out, my sheep hear my voice, which is coming through the prophets, and then they immediately follow. You know what I mean?
The sheep is,
kind of cool.
I was gonna say, yeah, because the sheep knows who his shepherd is. The sheep knows who to follow. Yeah, right. But if I was a stranger, like I went into a field of sheep, and the sheep don't know me, they're gonna run away from me. They ain't gonna come near me. They're gonna leg it.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, we were gonna actually set up in the field next to us with the sheep in the background, you know, just a change of scenery. But you know, I was saying to my brother, they didn't, because he thought the sheep were going to come up to us, disturb the lesson. But I know from experience that them sheep will run from you. They won't come nowhere near you.
Because they don't know us.
Because they don't know. Yeah, they know their shepherd's voice, and they come running to the shepherd. Anybody else is a stranger, you know. And that's the same thing. Spirit, you know, in this walk. You know, if the Lord don't know you, you know what I mean, he ain't coming, he ain't dealing with you, man. He gonna flee from you. I want to bring this out, right? This is Isaiah 30:20. It says, "And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers." So this is saying that the true prophets, you're going to see them with your own eyes before the return of the Lord, man. There are false prophets mingled amongst us, but you'll know them by their fruits. If the Lord is dealing with you and has put his spirit, the Holy Spirit on you, which gives you the eyes to see and the ears to hear, you know, you'll have that heightened sense, spiritual discernment, you know, about you, you know what I mean? But it says, this is the point right here. It says, "And thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way, walk ye in it, when ye turn to the right hand and when ye turn to the left." So we'll know without a doubt that this is the voice of the Lord. This is the true gospel, and we will follow it. You know what I mean? We will follow Yahushai wheresoever he may go, if you know what I mean.
That's right, man. That's a beautiful precept, and that just goes to show you, like, you know, you can find prophets out there. That's why a lot of Christians, they come up with the or you're teaching a skin color doctrine. And we say that at the beginning of every lesson. It's not about skin color, it's about the seed line.
Yeah.
So you could look like a so-called white man, but if your seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you're of the chosen seed line. It's that simple. But when you explain it in that way, they still don't receive it. That's that racist black Hebrew Israelite cult.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what they label us. But again, you know, it's Christians. That's why we have such a, you know, contention with them.
And that's why we sound like a broken record at the beginning of every lesson. We say the same thing. It's because it's very important for us to bring this out. So people that are tuning into our lesson, they know what we're about before they even get into it. You know what I mean? They know this ain't a black power movement. It's very important for people to know that, because there are many of our people that are among these other nations that look like these other nations, and we don't want them all of a sudden clicking off this video and not getting edified due to the fact that they have a warped understanding of what we're about, you know.
Yeah. And just to also add as well, and this is why, again, we say that, you know, the Christianity is not part of the ministry or Yahushai, because Yahushai doesn't teach that. You know what I mean? So again, people like you'll see some Israelite camps that will just straight up, you know, hey, you're Esau, you're an Edomite, but you ain't tried the spirit. You just saw him off appearance and labeled him like that. So that's what Christians look at us as. You know, they look, oh, you hate all white people and blah 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 blah. It's like, well, no, if your seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because you got to remember, the Israelites were scattered into every nation, right? Through the diaspora, through you know, history. We broke the commandments, and part of the curses were that we'd be scattered across the four corners of the earth. Right, so we're gonna look like other nations,
and that's why we don't. We're not about making Edomites kiss our boots, because you might be making a Jake kiss your boots, man.
Exactly.
You know, that's carnal, that's unwise, and it puts a bad stain on the ministry, man. Because that ain't what this walk is about. We're not about, you know, that's vainglory, also, man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that time will come where, you know, Edomites are gonna be, you know, in a sense, kissing our boots, but this ain't that time. We got a mission to do, man, you know. Anyway, let me bring out this precept real quick. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1, and I'll start 4, points in 5. It says, "Then the word of the Lord came, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee." So before you was even a fetus in your mom's belly, you know, it says the Lord knew you, because you was always predestined for glory, man. You know, which is what this lesson's about. We're gonna get deeper into this as we go along, right? So before we were formed in the uterus, in the womb, Salakia, you know, before we were a sperm swimming through the uterus, the Lord knew us, man. It says, "And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee and ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. Now the scriptures speak about how the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. Can you grab that real quick for me? Babu Kushah. Yeah, so the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets, man. So if you was a spirit, if you was a prophet in your former life, you're going to be gravitated toward the prophets naturally. It's a spiritual thing, man. You're going to gravitate toward where you belong. You know, people get in where they fit in, they say. And if you're in this congregation diligently watching our lessons, not just us brothers that teach what we teach, and you're taking notes, you're taking our ministry, the ministry serious, the truth serious, then you're more than likely a prophet, because the spirit of the prophets are subject to the prophets, meaning you're drawn to the prophets, man. Okay.
I got that.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 14, verse 32. It says, "And the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets." It says, "For the Most High is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints."
Yeah. See. So that's just proving the point I was making, you know, so you know exactly where the precept is at, if you want to take notes or whatever. Let me
Yeah, I was gonna quickly bring out Romans real quick.
yeah, can't do your thing. I'm just
Yeah, so this
up.
is the book of
Right.
Romans, chapter 9. I believe it's verse 11. Yeah, so this is just talking about when my brother was saying that, you know, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, right? This is Romans 9, and I'll just read verse 11. It says, "For the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of the Most High according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth." Right? So, you know, that particular precept is talking about Jacob and Esau, but you know, before they'd done anything good or bad, before they were born, the Lord already knew what was going to happen with that whole situation, because he created it, right? Just goes to show you that the Lord already has everything figured out and planned out. You know what I mean? And that goes into what my brother was just bringing out about the fact that before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. You know?
Yeah. And you didn't do anything to be of the ones that the Lord knew, man. So, you know, we got to show our appreciation by doing as is commanded, and doing everything we can to get on the good side of the Lord before he destroys this place, because everybody outside of this circle is doomed, man. You're in a safe sanctuary. The scriptures speak about how the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run to it and are safe, you know? So you're safe in this congregation, because there's a lot of evils that are getting ready to come into this world due to the after effects of World War III, man, which, you know, you can see is gaining momentum, you know, and these plagues ain't gonna be quenched, man. You're gonna keep seeing more and more judgments until that ultimate day, but you know, you're safe if you're here, man. I want to bring this out real quick. There's a certain point, just as a precept to what we've been saying, how the elect were always sanctified and always predestined for salvation and glory, right? And it says, this is the book of 2nd Ezra 9, and I'm gonna start at verse 6. It says, "Even so," no, I'll start at 5. "For like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest." We know we're at the end now, right? It says, "For like as verse 6, 2nd Ezra 9 and 6, even so, the times of the highest have plain beginnings in wonders and powerful works, and endings and effects and signs." It says, and every one that shall be saved and shall be able to escape the tribulation that's coming, right? And shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved, right? Kept alive, right? From the said perils, from the plagues that are coming, the judgments. It says, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders. And this is the point right here that I'm about to read. It says, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Right? So you were always predestined to be in your lot in these end times, okay? So if you're amongst us, you know, watching these lessons, taking notes, taking this truth serious, doing what you got to do to make your calling and election sure, then you were predestined to be among, you know, the righteous, the wise in these times we're living in, man. And consider yourself highly blessed, because like we're saying in this lesson, the point of this lesson is that you are a high level, you are a high value man, you know, because a lot of people are mistaken as to what a real high value man is, but it's going to be known in the days to come. Okay, we're going to bring out some more precepts to back this up in just a second, right? Because whenever the persecution comes, because we're entering into a time of great persecution and judgments, I'm going to bring out the book of Isaiah 59 and 19 real quick, because the Lord is going to do miracles for his elect, for his chosen, right? So this is the book of Isaiah. Is it Isaiah 59 and 19? It should come in like a flood. I think so, yeah. That's not it. Salakia, bear with me, Akim. 59 and 19. That's not it, is it? 59 and 19. Raise up the standard against him. Oh, yeah. Calm. Yeah. I just didn't have it highlighted. Salakia. All right. So this is the book of Isaiah, Salakia 59 and verse 19. It says, so shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. Right? So the east to the west, all over the earth, where the Israelites are scattered in the diaspora, right? The diaspora, the true servants of the Lord are gonna glorify and fear the name of the Lord. They're gonna believe on that name, right? It says, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, because he's gonna wage war against the saints, those that have the testimony of Yahweh Shai, right? Those who the Lord is really dealing with, right? Because these elites watch our videos, they know who is who. They know who has the truth. Okay. It says, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him. Right? So the Lord is gonna, basically divine intervention is gonna happen for his elect, because you are a high value man in this, and woman. Okay, let me not forget about the women too, the Akwaf, right? Because there are certain sisters that are going to be delivered too. All right, because you're not ratchet and ghetto and loud and ignorant and stubborn like the rest of these feminists out there, right? You've been cleaned up and washed clean through the word, man, through this truth. You know, you're quiet on the comment boards, you're in order. Unlike you go to the comment board of Sakari or something like that, and you see how these women are just posting scripture and just loud and opinionative and just all out of order, man. It's a big shit show, especially in IUIC and all that. But let me see. So the Lord, the Spirit of the Lord, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, shall lift up a standard against him. So when these martial law troops come, you know, miracles are gonna happen. This is gonna enter into the next phase of the ministry. Right now, we're throwing out that line, fishing for the elect, right? Fishers of men up here. But that season is almost coming. That season has almost come to an end, man. And then we're gonna reach the next chapter in this ministry. Some of the men of the Lord are gonna have spiritual powers, or they're gonna have angels appear to them. All these things that we've been speaking of, because during that time we're gonna know who the chosen are, man. As the Lord said in the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 16, around verse 75 or something, it says, then shall be known who are my chosen, man, and they shall be tried like gold in the fire. So during that time when the chosen are known, the elect are gonna, the are truly of the elect, they're gonna be doing some wondrous things. Not everybody, but some of them are gonna have certain powers in that time. or things are going to happen where divine intervention will happen, and you know what I mean, miraculous things are going to happen to help them escape certain situations, because we don't know what's going to happen during that time. We don't know the details. We just know that it's going to be a time of trouble where we're going to need, where Michael the archangel is going to have to stand up for the children of his people, man. You know. But that word standard, you got that on deck, yeah. Yeah, my brother's gonna bring that out in the blue letter, so you get an understanding of what it means when it says that the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him, man.
Yeah, so this is in the blue letter, and it's H5127, right? It says the outline of biblical usage is to flee, escape, to take flight, depart, disappear, to fly, to the attack. It says on horseback, but I mean spiritual power. You can, yeah, it's gonna be wild, right? Yeah. It says to drive at, to take flight. Again, it says to put to flight, to drive hastily, to cause, to disappear, to hide. You know, so there's quite a few definitions here. So you're gonna have, you know, a standard that could be anything. You could be standing like in a room, and the martial law troopers bust in, and they just walk past you because they can't see you. That could be an example of like a spiritual power that you'd have. You know, it could be a case of you know, you see just to give you an example, we were talking about this before, the Book of Eli, how that film is so spiritual because the you know, if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, I mean, you should have seen it by now anyway, but like he's walking through this wasteland from the east coast and he's heading towards the west coast, right? And he's blind. You don't realize he's blind throughout the whole entire movie until the end, but he's walking by sight, and he comes across those marauders.
By faith.
Yeah, by faith.
Yeah.
So it's lucky, the water for that. But yeah, he's walking by faith, right? Not by sight.
That's it.
And he's he comes across them marauders, and he knows they're there because that woman was all tied up, and you know, he noticed something was off. And then the marauders come out and try to rob him, and he used that spiritual power to chop hands off and take them out.
He was kicking ass, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, that's an example of things that we'll see with that standard.
Yeah, because and also one of the definitions was to disappear. Okay, and I'm gonna bring out an account where Yahushua did that himself. And actually, before I do that, let me bring this out, because the Lord said that greater works than these that we should do. Where is it?
John 14:12.
Yeah, John 14:12. Let me bring that out real quick first, and then we'll jump back to this, because, you know, being that we're considered Yahushua's friends, you know, we're going to share that in that glory with him upon his arrival. We're going to be changed, and we're going to be able to do great things in this earth, man. This is why the world is going to be so beautiful and so different. This reality is going to be so different than what it is now, because we're going to have the mind using 100% of our brain, our new brain. That's going to be like some kind of quantum computer or something, man. And we're going to get creative beyond, you know, our imagination now, and we're going to do things with the earth, going into the elements and the atoms and things like that to make this world something totally different, man. We're going to see new animals and maybe different species of trees and fruits or whatever, man. But anyway, it says, verily, John 14:12, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do, shall he do also. So we'll be able to do the things that Yahushua did, man. And he did many, many miracles while he was in the flesh, walking in this earth, man, 2,000 years ago. So it says all the things that he did, we'll be able to do even greater things than those. It doesn't mean that we're going to be on a higher level than him. It just means that he didn't do all the miracles that he could have done. He probably could have done, I'm sure he could have done a whole lot more than he actually did. But he's saying that the miracles that he did do, we're going to be able to do even greater miracles than that, man. So it says, continuing on, greater works than these He believe. Let me read it from the top again. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do, he shall do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. Right. So we leave that there, and then I want to jump back to the book of and show you some of the miracles that Yahushua did that the elect are going to possibly be doing during that time when the enemy comes in like a flood. It says in John chapter 8 and 51, I'll start at 51. It says, verily, verily, I say unto you, if a man keep my saying, he shall never see death. So we're going to be protected during this time that coming into, man. The Lord ain't going to forsake us, right? That don't mean that some of us ain't going to be a martyr, because obviously it's written that that's our lot, you know, some of our lots to be a martyr for this truth, but we shouldn't fear that. It says in verse 52, then said the Jews unto him, right, those the 2/3, it says, now we know that thou hast the devil, right? Because they're accusing him of being a demon, right? Being Beelzebub and all that, right? It says, Abraham is dead and the prophets, and thou sayest, if a man keep my saying, he shall never taste death. Art thou greater than our father Abraham, which is dead, and the prophets are dead, whom thou makest thou thyself? And Yahushua answered, if I on and this is basically Yahushua egging them on, man, kind of, you know, talking shit, basically.
Winding them up.
Winding them up. There we go. Winding them up, right? This is funny. Right, verse 54. Let me show you where I'm at, for those that might not know. It says in John 8 and 54, right? And Yahushua answered, if I honor myself, my honor is nothing. It is my Father that honoreth me, of whom thou say he is your God, right? So he's saying the one that you say is your God, he honors me, right? Now he knew that was gonna wind them up, because they're already trying to accuse him, right, of being a devil, and he's like saying, nah, the one that you call God, he honors me, right, not you, right? And he says in verse 55, yet ye have not known him. You don't know him, right? But I know him, he says, and if I should say I know him not, I shall be a liar like unto you. So he's saying, if I say I don't know him, then I'm a liar like you, right? Calling them a liar, basically, right? Talking shit to them. It says, but I know him and keep his saying. Your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it and was glad. And he knew that would wind them up, because they respond by saying, then said the Jews unto him, thou art not yet 50 years old, and hast thou seen Abraham? Right? And Yahushua answered unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, before Abraham was I am, right? And he knew this was gonna wind them up. So this is how they responded, right? It says they took up stones to cast at him. So they're getting ready to stone him. But Yahushua hid himself, which goes into that word that my brother brought out, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Lord shall lift up a standard against them. And go into that meaning of that word standard, one of the words is to disappear. And that's what Yahushua did in this story right here. And you know, I read how it says that, you know, us that follow the Lord, you know, greater works than he did, we're going to be able to do, meaning we're going to have great glory, man. Okay, we're going to be able to do things that is going to blow these people's mind. And when we tell the average person out there that don't understand the true gospel these things, they think we're crackpots, man. They think we're crazy when we say we're going to zip around like Marvel characters. They think we're nuts. You really lost the plot now. Let me read verse 59 from the top again, right? So this is John 8 and 59. It says, then they took up stones to cast at him. But Yahushua hid himself and went out of the temple, going through the midst of them, and so passed by. So that proves that he went invisible, because he hid himself and he went through the midst of them. You know, how do you go through the midst of them without being noticed when they're literally angry, looking for you, ready to stone you, because you then wound them up, you know, talk crap to their face, and got them all heated. So that's one account of a miracle that happened when they basically came in like a flood trying to stone him, right, so to speak, right? Let me bring out another miracle that he did.
Yeah. So while you're looking for that,
Yeah,
just to say, but yeah, you know, that just goes to show you, like, Yahweh Shai, he was winding them up, and then when they went to react, like, which is symbolic of what we're doing today, right? We're bringing out these lessons, waking up our people. The elites are watching our videos, watching us closely. We're winding them up, telling them, yeah, your kingdom is done, your kingdom is finished. So that's the prophets winding up these elites. You know, we're winding them up because they're getting angry at the fact. So soon they're gonna come in as a flood, and that's when the Lord's gonna lift up that standard. So we're gonna be doing stuff like disappearing, like, you know, like it said in the in the definition, you know, it's saying to disappear. We're gonna be like disappearing. Like my brother brought out a whole bunch of scriptures, and one specifically was talking about the things which you've seen me do, roughly paraphrasing. You will do greater than those, you know. So who knows, man? Your imagination can run away with you sometimes. Sometimes I sort of picture, like, you know, if I was one of those men, Lord willing, you know, I always say Lord willing because I don't know, you know, I hope I am. It'd be great to have like a superpower where you just disappearing in front, you know, in front of people, or you're, you know, they're coming in like a big squad of what do you call them? The here in the UK, you got the supremacists, the EDL, you know, a whole gang of them coming after you. You're the only one there, and you just chopping them and giving them the what for, man. You know, you just think about stuff like that, man, and it's a beautiful thing to think about.
Beautiful to do, man.
I know.
What I mean, but that's the glory, that's the honor that the elect are gonna receive, man. Because you know how much you want to get your hands around the throats of these damn racist ass devils, man.
Pop somebody's head like a zip. His head explode.
You want to grab Bill Gates by the throat and drag him around. You know you want to do that.
Yeah, stuff his mouth full of bugs. Like, how'd you like to eat bugs?
You eat bugs, nigga.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You eat them bugs.
But that glory is going to be given to the elect, man. That's why I said, you know, great glory is coming to his saints. Okay. This is the book of John. Again, it says, this is chapter 24, and I'm thinking of where to start. I'll start at verse 28, right? And they drew nigh unto the village whither they went, and he made as though he would have gone further. So Yahushua was basically like, you know, I'm gonna call it a night and head on this way. You guys head on that way, right? But they constrained him, saying, abide with us, for it is toward the evening and the day is fast spent. So basically it's getting late, man. Just come back with us, you know what I mean? And he went in to tarry with them. So he was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna come. So Yahushua went with them. And it came to pass, as he sat at meat with them, right, so he sat down to eat dinner with them, he took bread and blessed it and brake it. So he broke it and gave it to them. And their eyes were open and they knew him. You know, they were while their eyes were open and they're beholding Yahushua, looking at him just as you're looking at us right now, right? It says, and their eyes were opened and they knew him, and he vanished out of their sight. So he disappeared right in front of them. He didn't exit out the front door, say, all right, I'm gonna go on about my way. After he broke bread, blessed it, boom, gone. He vanished. You know, and that's just a small example of the miracles that are getting ready to happen. Like the scripture said, the Lord shall lift up a standard against him, man. So basically, during that time, Miracles are gonna happen for his elect. You ain't got to worry about nothing. What does the scripture say? Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer, because the devil shall cast some of you into prison. But the point is, and that's Revelations 2 and 10, for those that don't know. But, you know, there's coming a time of great persecution of the prophets, right? But you ain't got to fear none of those things, because you never know what could happen during that time. All you need to know is you need to have faith. And this is why we're doing this lesson as a faith booster. But basically, you need to have faith that the Lord has got you. Okay, anything could happen, but you best believe it's gonna be miraculous. There's gonna be miracles that are gonna happen for his elect during that time, man. So just stay the path you're on, and hopefully, you know, you become a part of the elect, man.
I got a precept I want to bring out, which touches on that.
Kinda.
So this is in the book of Matthew, and it's red letter. So it's Yahushua that's speaking and saying these things, right? This is Matthew 6, chapter 6, verse 25. It says, "Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body what ye shall put on. It is not the life more than meat, and the body than raiment." So Yahushua is saying, don't worry about these things. Like, obviously, there's going to be a time of persecution, and a lot of people will think, well, you know, during the time of Jacob's trouble, what if there's no food available? What if there's no, you know, there's no water available? You know what I mean? Like, you got to have faith. That's where the faith kicks in. You know, you got to have that faith. Verse 26 says, "Behold, the fowl of the air, which is the birds," you know, it says, "For they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are ye not much better than they?" So it's a rhetorical question. Yahushua is saying, look, the birds of the air, they don't plant, they don't, you know, harvest and you know, reap the harvest and all that other stuff, but they still eat. You know, they're still taken care of. He's saying, are you not better than them? You know, are you not going to be better than them? That's where the faith comes in, right? It's just like I think it was Peter when he was walking on the water, and Yahushua just like, you know,
just about to bring that out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, come on, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because that's the spirit, man. Because basically, there was a time where Yahushua took 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes, I believe it was, and he fed thousands. I forget how many thousands it was. It was like 5,000 or something.
I think it was about 5,000.
But that account is in the book of John, chapter 6, right? So that right there also proves that miracles can happen to feed those that follow the Lord, basically, right? That's an example of that. You know, the things that were written before time were written for our learning in these end times, man. But I just want to get to a certain point, because after that incident where he fed 5,000 with those few loaves and stuff, right? Which I'm pretty sure is going to happen to some of the brothers during this time of famine, because the Lord did say, "My servant shall eat." Lord willing, we'll grab that in a minute. But let me start at verse 14. So this is John 6 and 14. It says, "Then those men, when they had seen the miracle that Yahushua did when he fed the 5,000, right? It says, said, this is of a truth that prophet should come into the world. When Yahushua therefore perceived that they would come and take him by force to make him a king, he departed again into a mountain himself alone." So he wasn't seeking glory this time around. You know, when he comes in the chariots, which the world calls UFOs, when he comes on his second coming, he's coming in a different manner. He's going to come with all his glory during that time. But when he came the first time around, he came lowly. So when he did these great miracles, the people wanted to make him a king right there and then. But that wasn't his lot. That wasn't his path. And he knew that. And he wasn't seeking that type of glory, man. You know, Bishop Nate would have been all over that. He would have been like, yeah. You know what I mean? Lapping it up. But that's just me talking shit. So where am I at? Verse 16, right? John 6:16, it says, and when even was now come, which is another word for evening, right? When the sun went down, his disciples went down unto the sea and entered into a ship and went over the sea toward Capernaum. Capernaum. I believe that's how you pronounce it, right? It says, and it was now dark, and Yahushua was not come to them. And the sea arose by reason of a great wind that blew. So it got this. It got the storm came. The sea, the waves were tossing about. The sea got violent, right? And there's another account of that story, and it speaks about how Peter went out to meet Yahushua on the water, and then he started to lose faith and started to sink, right? But in this particular these particular scriptures here, this is John's account of this story, and it's certain details are slightly different. So it's good to read both of them to get the a better understanding as to that whole situation. But this right here, pay attention, right? This, I'm getting to the point. I'll start at 18 again, John 6:18. It says, and the sea arose by reason of a great wind that blew. So when they had rowed about 25 or 30 furlongs, they see Yahushua walking on the sea and drawing nigh unto the ship. And they were afraid. They thought it was a spirit or a strange apparition or something, right? So they got a bit spooked. It says in verse 20, John 6:20, but he saith unto them, it is I, be not afraid. Then they willingly received him into the ship. And this was after the account of Peter walking out onto the water to meet Yahushua, right? Because you all know, that famous story of how Yahushua walked on the water, right? Then they willingly received him into the ship. And they're like, oh, that's Yahushua. Cool. Come on to the ship, right? And immediately the ship was at the land whither they went. So he teleported them and the ship to dry land, to the land, right? Because the waves were tossing about, this and that. I believe he did calm the waves, but either way, he took the ship, he teleported them and the ship to dry land, man. Because it says immediately they were at the land. Let me read that one more time, right? John 6:21. Then they willingly received him into the ship, and immediately the ship was at the land whither they went. So this is just one of the many miracles that Yahushua did. So you think that you ain't gonna be protected when you're in the presence of the Lord during the time of famine? Esau could do whatever he wants. Hey, come with it, man. Bring it, Esau. These elites, bring it, man. Whatever you got, okay? Because we have utter confidence, pure confidence in our Lord, man. And we know his name now. We have power. Because all of them calling on Jesus, Yeshua, Yahuwah, all of these bugged out false names, they're false gods, right? They're going to be sadly disappointed. They ain't getting the miracles that we're getting. Lord, we're willing we be a part of them, man. We be them, men, But the Lord's true servants are getting ready to come into great glory, okay? Because it's going to be known who is chosen during that time, because you're going to see the miracles, man. You're going to know without a doubt that the Lord is dealing with you, okay? We're going to reach the next level of this ministry, man, the next chapter. Because, you're seeing us on the highways and hedges and out here prophesying and doing the sit-downs and the pistols and all that. And that's all you've been seeing since you come into this truth. But don't think that that's it. You know it all. You've seen it all. You're getting ready to see the next level soon, okay, of this ministry, when you're going to start to see the miracles that happened during the time when we escaped Egyptian captivity under Pharaoh, all those miracles that the Lord did then, which the 2/3 niggas were still unfaithful and unthankful, even though they witnessed all those miracles firsthand. But, we ain't built from that cloth, man. You got something you want?
Yeah, I was gonna say, and, another miracle that happened
Yeah.
was when Daniel was in the lion's den, basically. An
Yeah.
angel brought him food,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, it says well, basically, an angel told the prophet Habakkuk to bring food to Daniel. So like Habakkuk was in the middle of making food, and angel was like, yeah, take some food to Daniel. And I think Habakkuk was like, I don't know where Babylon is, and I don't know where the lion's den is. You know what I mean? It's like the angel. Yeah, I believe he took Habakkuk by the hair and instantly teleported him to where Daniel was. Right. I believe that story is in the book of Bel and the Dragon. Let me just see. I believe it's chapter 1. There's only one chapter, but I think it's verse 33, where it sort of gives the account. And I'll read it. This is Bel and the Dragon, 1:33 says, now there was in Juri a prophet called Habakkuk, who had made pottage and had broken bread in a bowl, and was going into the field for to bring it to the reapers. But the angel of the Lord said unto Habakkuk, go carry the dinner that thou hast into Babylon unto Daniel, who is in the lion's den. And Habakkuk said to the Lord, I never saw Babylon, neither do I know where the den is. So Habakkuk was like, how am I supposed to bring him food if I don't know where he's at? I ain't never been there before. It's like let's say, for example, an angel will approach me. Look, scenario, Lord willing, right? I'd be, that blessed, right? But an angel comes to me and is like, you know what? I need you to take this food to the brother in Milwaukee who's in prison right now. I'm like,
We're in England, man.
I'm in England. Well, how am I gonna get there? You know what I mean? The angel's like, oh, come on, and just grabs you. You just in Milwaukee there. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy, man. That's yeah, beautiful thing, right? And it says, verse 36. It says, then the angel of the Lord took him by the crown and bare him by the hair of his head, and though the vehemency, I don't know if I said that correct, so forgive me. It says of his spirit set him in Babylon over the den. So he basically grabbed him, was like, come on, bang, and he just over the top of Daniel. And Habakkuk cried, saying, oh, Daniel, and like, hey, Daniel, psst, up here. You know what I mean? Take the dinner which the Most High have sent thee. And Daniel said, thou hast remembered me, O power. Neither hast thou forsaken them that seek thee and love thee. You see? So Daniel, was faithful unto the Lord. That's why he was in the lion's den. And he stayed faithful, right? He believed that the Lord wasn't going to forsake him. And look what happened. He sent the angel, hey, grab Habakkuk and give this brother a meal, like from me. So
hot
it's
hot too.
I bet you
It ain't cold when he got there.
Habakkuk, like,
what's this? Cold, man.
Exactly. So it says, verse 39, which I'll close it here. It says, so Daniel arose and did eat, and the angel of the Lord set Habakkuk in his own place again immediately. So literally zipped him over to Babylon, gave Daniel the dinner, and then zipped him right back. You know what I mean? Like, miracles, man. Like we Lord willing, we be of those men. We go and see stuff like that, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's a beautiful thing. I love reading that story, man. Because it's like, yo, imagine, like, because a lot of people are afraid of not having any food or anything during the time of Jacob's trouble. And imagine, you run for refuge or something like that. You manage to escape the martial law troopers. You find an abandoned house, and you're like, oh, I'm starving. And then there's like a pot. You pull the lid off the pot, and it's just like a whole bunch of, I don't know, something nice in there, stew or something. You're like, man, like, yeah, the water out by Shim Yao Shai.
Hey, there's gonna be many times where we're gonna be praising the Lord, man.
Yeah.
Because you got to understand, we're coming into a time where there's not going to be food anywhere. There's going to be violence all out in the streets. And we're gonna, even Ezra said, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? Because he knew the time that he was gonna be living in. He knew he was gonna be back in his lot in these times we're living in now. And he had a vision of it. And it was so bad, right? Because the scriptures speak about how it's a time that like there's never been on the earth or ever will be again. This is the time of all times that we just so happen to be born in, right? Right? And it's gonna get ugly out here, man, and we're gonna need divine intervention, man. And miracles are gonna happen for you to be fed. Okay, there may be days that you might not eat or whatever. I don't know the details of what's gonna happen, but the Lord is gonna keep us alive during famine. And how do you think that's gonna happen? You think that you're just gonna, you know, you stocked up, you have plenty to last you through the famine, every brother out there? No, man. You're going to be fed through divine intervention, okay? And the Lord's word has not been proven false thus far, has it? Is there ever can you think of a time where the Lord has lied? Come on, man.
You got to think as well, you know, we've had practice in like prayer and fasting, you know?
Yeah.
So you could look at it as a case of, well, if I don't eat today, it's not a big deal, you know?
Yeah.
But when you fast, your spirit gets closer to the Lord. So you can have a, you know, pray to the Lord, and the Lord ain't gonna forsake his people, man. He ain't gonna forsake his men, should I say?
Yeah.
You know,
When you fast, you get used to going a day or two without food, man. So it's you can handle it more than somebody that's just used to eating all the damn time.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because most Americans are obese, and victuals are so good cheap that they think themselves to be in good case in these times, man.
That's right.
When they're really not, because the evils are growing, and we're approaching day by day that day where the storehouses are going to be empty, man, as the scriptures state, right? This is the book of Romans 15:4. It says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime, like all these stories of miracles and the angels feeding Daniel in a lion's den and all that sort of stuff, right? So for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, us in these end times, to boost our faith, right? It's because it says, scripture saying Isaiah 33:6 that wisdom and knowledge will be the stability of our times. It's going to keep us stable, knowing these miracles that happen and having the faith and the understanding and the wisdom to know that these things are going to be happening to his servants also, man. So it says, Romans 15:4 from the top again, it says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures, by learning the scriptures and reading the accounts of these miracles, might have hope. So this is going to give us hope and faith, understanding these stories that happened for the servants of the Lord back in them days, man. Right? I want to bring out a few things real quick. Let's jump to the book of Revelations chapter 2 and 10, like I said earlier, right? Because there's coming a time of great persecution among the prophets where this damn devil Esau Edom is going to use his power to throw us into prisons, FEMA camps, county jail, whatever the case may be, but you're going to be locked up. So it says, fear none of those things, Revelations 2:10, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer, because we're getting ready to go through some persecution. It says, behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. One sec. That ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. And that doesn't mean you can take a little, something hard and scratch in the wall of your cell. There's 1 day, 2 days. You only got a few days left, brothers, and we're out of here. It says 10 days. Nah, man, it ain't that simple. You ain't gonna know exact date you're gonna be released. Every brother's scenario is gonna be different too, man. It says that ye shall have tribulation 10 days, which means a set period of time. Okay. It says, be thou faithful unto death, because some of us will have to be martyrs for this truth. We don't know who will, but it says, fear none of those things, right? So be faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So the point of that is that there's coming a time where some of us, not all of us, but some of us will be thrown into prison, beaten in the synagogues, tried like gold in the fire, man, to see how much you truly love the Lord. Because it's one thing saying with your lips. I love the Lord, and you clapping and singing in the pews of the Christian church and all that. But then, you know, when you're put to the test, you face a little bit of adversity. Nah, I ain't signed up for this. This ain't for me. I ain't know it was gonna be like this. I can't do this. Too hard. I gotta eat. Give me the mark. Right? Because a lot of people gonna be doing that, man. They're gonna bitch out. They're gonna bottle it. Right? Acts. This is the book of Acts. I'm gonna read another miracle that happened for one of the servants of the Lord, right? Speaking of the fact that some of us are going to be locked up. So this is the book of Acts chapter 12, and I'm going to start at verse 5. And this is the title of it, the heading of it. It says persecution by Herod. And this is what happened to the apostle Peter. It says in Acts 12 and 5, Peter therefore was kept in prison, like some of us are going to have to be, right? But prayer was made without ceasing of the church unto the Most High for him. So basically the brethren, right, the other brothers caught wind of Peter being locked up, and they were praying for Peter, right? That's like, say, Elder Manata Zakbar, we catch wind that, hey, they got Elder Manata Zakbar, right? And we're all coming together in prayer for him, right? Praying, it says they prayed without ceasing. So they prayed hard for him, right? And you know, the scriptures say the fervent prayer of righteous man availeth much, or something along them lines. But basically, the prayer of the saints is gonna be heard. It ain't gonna fall on deaf ears, man, because we're coming in the right name. It says in verse 6, Acts 12 and 6, and when Herod would have brought him forth the same night, Peter was sleeping between two soldiers, bound with two chains, and the keepers before the door kept the prison, right? So basically, in a nutshell, man, this is a high security, maximum security prison, man, because it says Peter was sleeping between two soldiers. And he was bound with two chains. And then there was also keepers of the door. So there was he was bound, he was chained up between two soldiers, two guards, prison guards, and there was some soldiers, some prison guards at the door. So he weren't going nowhere. It says, and behold, the angel of the Lord came upon him, and a light shined in the prison, and he smote Peter on the side and raised him up, saying, arise up quickly, and his chains fell off from his hands. So basically, the angel appeared in there, and great glory filled the prison, right? and he hit him on the side, man, get up, right? And immediately he rose, and the chains fell off his hands, man. Can you picture that in your head? That's crazy. But that's the type of miracles that are going to happen for his servants, for the elect, for the ones that the Lord is considered as chosen, man, that were predestinated for these miracles, man. That's why scriptures say, fear none of those things that you shall suffer, because you don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. We're living in some exciting times, brothers, man. So it says, an angel said unto him, gird thyself and bind on thy sandals. So basically, get dressed, right? And so he did. And he saith unto him, cast thy garment about thee and follow me. And get dressed and follow me. And he went out and followed him, and wist not that it was true, which was done by the angel. So basically, he couldn't believe what he was seeing. He was like, man, am I dreaming? This can't be happening, right? But thought he saw a vision. So he thought he was dreaming. It says in verse 10, Acts 12 and 10, when they were past the first and second ward, they came unto the iron gate that leadeth into the city. So the main gate, the one that had the biggest deadbolts on it, right? The biggest iron gate of the prison, basically, right? Let me read that from the top again, verse 10. It says, when they were past the first and second ward, they came unto the iron gate that leadeth unto the city, which opened to them of its own accord. So it opened by itself. And it says, and they went out and passed on through one street, and forthwith the angel departed from him. So the angel just basically came to do a jailbreak for him, man. So the angel did what he did his mission, and then he departed, right? Because the angels do, they do what they're meant to be doing, and they execute their mission with perfection every time, because the will of the Lord the will of the Lord is not gonna come back void. Basically, it's gonna happen. The
angels are pleased to fulfill the commandments of him that sent them.
Yeah, can
paraphrase.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. In verse 11, it says, and when Peter came to himself, he said, now I know of a surety that the Lord have sent his angel and have delivered me out of the hand of Herod, and from all the expectation of the people of the Jews, these 2/3 ass niggas, right? So basically it says when Peter was come to himself, meaning when he because he's obviously stood there in disbelief, like, I can't believe this is happening. And that's the same thing that's going to be happening to some of you brothers out there in this walk that are putting your trust in the Lord, man. You're going to be greatly rewarded for that. This is why I say that you people that are of the hopeful elect in the congregation of the living among this true gospel, which is we're a rare breed, man. You're a high value man or a high value woman, man. To hell with these niggas with big muscles, tattoos, they got the nicest whip, they got money, they got some kind of fame and status in this world or whatever. Who cares, man? The Lord chose you, he didn't choose them. So you got to understand that you ain't like the rest of them, man. It reminds me of that movie. What was it? Where he's like, I'm kind of a big deal. You remember that? What was it called? Anchorman or something?
Yeah. I think it was.
I'm kind of a big deal. It's funny, man. You're a big deal, all right? That's what I should have titled this lesson. You're kind of a big deal. Oh man, I'm just having fun. But it gets me excited just thinking about it, man, because in all honesty, you brothers ain't seen nothing yet, man.
I know, it makes you think, like, what has the Lord got in store for his men? Like you women that are in, following after the true gospel, you're going to be protected, because you think these women out here that are, living their best lives, boss babes, all that other stuff, they're going to keep receiving their judgment worse and worse and worse. It's going to be to a point where they're going to be trodden down as the mire of the streets, like the scripture says, but you women that are in the faith, that are, doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, you're going to be all right. The Lord going to look after you.
Yeah, can, man. Can. Because, I imagine it's quite hard for, you women to play the role you're supposed to in these end times, man, to be in order, because you've been so conditioned by this westernized society and stuff. And, women, they weren't really blessed with the wisdom that men have, to a certain degree. You do have some women that are quite intelligent or whatever. They got their degree and all, they got their masters and all that. But, for the most part, women are quite simple, man. So they're prone to being finessed by these men that only have certain intentions for them. They fall so easily. They're so easily deceived by niggas, man. So it's very hard for, the woman to break free from this westernized mindset, the social pressures of this life and stuff, man. When we say that the men are not who you thought they were, niggas ain't, the world says niggas ain't shit. Well, that is true. Niggas ain't shit, but we ain't niggas up here in this truth. We're the high value men, but it's hard, you know, it takes a while for you to really recognize that. You know, you learn over time. If the Lord is dealing with you, you'll learn that in due time that, you know, we're the best men out here. You know, Lord willing, we be them men, but the men of the Lord are the best men out here, man. The rest of these people outside of us are trash. That's why you can't find a good man. Ain't no good men. It's because you're looking in the wrong places. The good men are the men of the Lord, you know? And I use that word good loosely. You know, no one's good, but we seek to be. But you know where I'm going with that anyway. Let me not get off topic, man. Let's get back on topic, right? I want to bring out the book of Psalms, chapter 34. And I'll start at 6, right? It says, this poor man cried. And who's the poor man? Who's this representation of? It's us, you know, the Israelites. We're the poor. That's why it says, I know thy poverty and tribulation or whatever, but thou art rich. And another blasphemy that them that say they are the JEWs, but are the synagogue of Satan. Speaking of us, man, you know, we're the poor. So the poor man cried, and Yahweh heard him and saved him out of all his troubles. So how are we sighing and crying? Because the scriptures speak about putting a mark, the thawah, I believe it is, the mark of exemption upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry. That's us that are teaching, not the no 2/3 Pookie and Ray Ray out there who the average Eve of this world considers the high value man. Nigga got tattoos and dreadlocks. That's a high value man right there. Love me some Ray Ray.
You got a gold chain.
And that always ends in tears. Right. Psalms 34 and 6. The poor man cried. So that's us out in the highways and hedges, sighing and crying for the abominations that are done in the midst thereof. By means of these lessons and these epistles, we're constantly complaining about the condition of the world, the condition of our women, the condition of life in general, man. These Edomites, you know, the nation of Edom, have made this world a unbearable place to live. You know, we're catching hell from all angles, man. You don't know if you're gonna die from the next meal you eat because it might be contaminated with salmonella or something, man. There's constantly recalls on food these days, man. We're living in some evil times. You got people stabbing people at random, some random attacks, and you're just walking, shopping, minding your business, man. Especially in America. That's why the scriptures call America the valley of the shadow of death, because death is just lurking on every corner. You know, you can walk out your front door, not come home that day, man. I mean, anyway, let me get back to the point. Psalms 34 and 6. This poor man cried, and Yahweh heard him and saved him out of all his troubles. Just like the miracles we've been speaking about. You know, the angel broke people out of jail and all that. It says, the angel of Yahweh encampeth around about them that fear him and delivereth them. So you best believe the angels are watching, and the Lord has his eyes, which the angels of the Lord are the eyes of the Lord, right? So you got chariots around you. You don't even know it, man. And you think that when they're witnessing certain scenarios happen to you, that is a high value man of the Lord, you think the Lord is gonna allow you to starve to death on the streets? You think he ain't gonna bring you a hot plate somehow, some way? Something's gonna happen. You're gonna be all right, man. That's why you think the Lord's lying when he says, fear none of those things you shall suffer? Come on, man. It says, verse 8, Psalms 34 and 8, oh, taste and see that Yahweh is good. Blessed is the man that trusteth in him. O fear Yahweh, ye his saints, for there is no want to them that fear him. The young lions do lack and suffer hunger, but they that seek Yahweh shall not want any good thing. See, because we don't need anything when we're in this truth, man. We're content. Our mind is at rest. The scriptures speak about how ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Of course, we're still in the land of our captivity. Doesn't mean that the curses are lifted off of us. We're still under curses, but we ain't feeling the brunt of the curses like these young lions out here, these average people, man. You know, these average jakes. You know, they're under the curses more heavier than us because, you know, we're free. We're at peace because we've come into the truth. What does the scripture say? It says, Israel, I ain't going to pull it out. I'm just going to roughly paraphrase it. It says, Israel have not, what then? Israel have not found that which he seeketh, but the election have found it, and the rest were blinded. So we found the meaning of life. We found our purpose. We ain't got to worry about trying to be no rapper, you know, because you know half of you jakes out there was trying to be a damn rapper before you come into this truth. That's what all jakes are trying to do. They're trying to make it big in the industry and all that. You used to want to be in the Diddy parties, but then the Lord snapped you out of that because he set you free, man. You're at rest. You know your purpose now. You know that you're a high value man, regardless of the fact you didn't make it big. You didn't win the lottery. You didn't become that famous rapper that everybody strives to be, but yet you don't care about that anymore. Your mind is free. Okay. It says, where am I? Psalms 34 and 11. It says, come, ye children, hearken unto me. I will teach you the fear of Yahweh. Okay. Because the fear of the Yahweh is our treasure, man. What is it? That's Isaiah 33 and 6. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our times. It says the fear of Yahweh is his treasure, man. So the children it's speaking of is us, you know, of the hopeful elect. Well, the elect, but we don't know if we're them men. That's why we call ourselves hopeful elect, right? So the fear of the Lord is our treasure. Verse 12, it says, what man is he that desireth life and loveth many days, that he may see good? It says, keep thy tongue from evil and thy lips from speaking guile. When it says keep thy tongue from evil, it don't mean you can't say a little cuss word here and there. Obviously, that ain't, you know, it ain't expedient to be just cursing like a sailor just because, you know, you're not going to go to a place called hell for saying shit. It doesn't mean you can just say, oh, I can say, the Lord don't care. I can say, I can swear. So you're just going to cuss your butt off in your lessons, you know. There ain't nothing wrong with saying a little swear word here and there, but you ain't got to go overboard with it, man. Anyway, that's not the point, man. It says, verse 13, Psalms 30. I'm getting to the point. Bear with me, brethren. Psalms 34 and 13. Keep thy tongue from evil. Okay, so basically speak truth. Don't, you know, don't join in a filthy conversation of the wicked and you know, worship false gods, calling on Yahuwah and all that crap, right? Allah. It says, and thy lips from speaking guile, which is deception, meaning when you're doing your lessons, do it with a pure heart, man. You know, curse is the man that doeth the work of the Lord deceitfully, like some people do. They think they're in the truth, like Vocab Malone, showing up to people's lessons, their camp. When do you see GMS go to you know, Islamists that are speaking on the corner, speaking their rhetoric? Man, we let everybody play their role. You know, we know they ain't got the truth, but we're not going to roll up to some damn Islam and try to confound them with a damn bullhorn and just all out of order, man. It says, verse 14, Psalms 34 and 14, depart from evil and do good, seek peace and pursue it. It says, and we're getting to the point, it says, the eyes of Yahweh are upon the righteous, and his ears are open unto their cry. So our prayers are heard, you know, and our supplication, our, you know, us crying out to the Lord to deliver us by doing these lessons and hastening his coming. The Lord is watching us. So you think that he ain't going to protect you during the time when there's no food around and everyone's out there looting and going frantic and losing their damn minds? We have wisdom and knowledge, which is going to be our stability in these times, pursuant to Isaiah 33:6, like I said earlier, man. It says, the face, Psalms 34:16, the face of Yahweh is against them that do evil, to cut off the remembrance of them from the earth. See, they're not going to be renowned. You know, these people are going to have a shit legacy, man, because the Lord ain't dealing with them. You know, it says the righteous cry unto Yahweh. No, the righteous cry, and Yahweh heareth and delivereth them out of all their troubles. There you go. It says Yahweh is nigh unto them, close unto them, meaning unto them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such as be of a contrite spirit. So when we constantly get on Eve, we're constantly saying you women are out of order, although we may bring it out in a harsh way sometimes and call them the nigger woman and they're through and we can't wait for them to be destroyed and the great humbling is coming and all these things. It don't mean we hate our women. We're heartbroken, man. And that's just a small example. I'm just used because that came to the top of my head. We're heartbroken that our women are not in order, man. That you know, it's just our way of expressing it. You know, it comes out in many different forms, man. You know, different brothers get on women in different ways. Some brothers are more, you know, come with a more milder rebuke, and then other brothers will just go all in, guns a-blazing, man. But, you know, we're all feeling the same way, man. We're all heartbroken, and not only at Eve, but just basically the condition of the world, the food we got to eat, living around these devils, putting on an act because we got to tread wisely and walk wisely among them. You know what I mean? Knowing what we know about these devils, when we look at them in the eye and they give you that Edomite smile where they just, you know, what they do, tuck in their lip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tuck in the bottom lip.
And we know that they hate us, but we just got to, you know, put on an act. How you doing? Yeah, have a good day, da-da-da. But we know damn well what they're thinking. We could basically read their mind. We know you don't like us. We know more about you than you know about your damn self, okay? We know that you were programmed and it's woven in your DNA not to like us. When you say, I'm not racist, they truly believe they're not in their warped mind. But we know that they are because they were born that way, man. Gotta remember, Jacob and Esau were struggling in the womb, man. They were created not to like us, and they didn't like us from day one, man. I'm going off topic, but forgive me, but Salakia, brethren, man. Let me get back on point. Because I'm getting to the closure of this, and then we'll move to the next bit. Psalms 34:18. Yahweh is nigh close unto them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such as be of a contrite spirit. It says, many are the afflictions of the righteous, but Yahweh delivereth him out of them all. Boom, man. You're gonna be delivered, man. They don't call the Lord Yahushai the deliverer for no reason, man. He is the deliverer of the children of Israel, to deliver us from the hand of our enemies. He's not the deliverer of all nations. He's the deliverer of his people. He came to save his people. And that don't mean Christians that are clapping and singing in the church, man, thinking you're his people because you went and paid your tithes and offerings this week. Got robbed. Did you want to bring
Yeah, I was going to bring out the book of Isaiah, because the book of Isaiah, the 65th chapter, goes into, you know, the Lord taking care of his servants, right? So this is Isaiah 65. I'm going to start at verse 11, right? And it says, but ye are they that forsake Yahweh, that forget my holy mountain, that prepare a table for that troop, that furnish the drink offering unto that number. It says, therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter, because when I called, ye did not answer. When I spake, ye did not hear, but did evil before mine eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. Right? So this is talking about the people out there that don't want to take heed to the warnings. They don't want to hearken unto the voice of the Lord. They want to do their own thing, be Pookies and Ray Rays. This is talking about, like my brother said, some brothers talk about the Eves, or the Israelite woman, going off. But we're not talking about the Israelite women that are in order. We're talking about the women that are still in the world, that just refuse to have some decorum about themselves. They just want to live their life and use men to get what they want, build themselves up and then look for the next best thing. That's talking about the wicked of the earth, right? It says, therefore, let me read verse 12 again. It says, therefore will I number you to the sword, and you shall all bow down to the slaughter. I mean, there's going to be a great humbling, right? There's going to be a lot of death that's coming upon the earth, the tribulation that my brother's been talking about earlier in the lesson. The Jacob's trouble, the time of trouble. It's going to be so bad. It's going to be a time like no other, like it's never been since the world began. You know what I mean? Like, if you can fathom that, you think all the atrocities that happened during slavery, and Jacob's trouble is going to trump that. That's going to, be like a day at Wally World, in comparison to what's coming, what the Lord's got in store, right? It says, because when I called, you did not answer. When I spake, you did not hear. And who's he calling through? He's calling through his prophets. Who's he speaking through? Speaking through his prophets. Yeah. And you instead of taking heed to the warning, you take the Lord as a joke, right? You take it as, oh, I ain't listening to that. You guys are a bunch of friggin' occultists. You guys are talking about being beamed up on spaceships. Why would I follow you? You sound crazy. Jesus is white, actually. Do you know what I mean? Like, even though the scriptures clearly describe what he looks like.
Can I
right?
speak on something real quick?
Yeah,
Can
sure.
you read out read verse 12 again real quick?
Yeah, it says, this is Isaiah chapter 65, verse 12. It says, therefore will I number you to the sword, and you shall all bow down to the slaughter.
Right. I just want to speak on that. Where it says ye shall all bow down to the slaughter, right? When you think of like somebody bowing down to you, it means they're submitting before you, right? If someone bows down to you, they're submitting, they're humbling themselves before you, right? So when the Lord is saying to these 2/3 niggas that you're gonna bow down to the slaughter, it means that there's gonna be nothing you could do to save yourself, man. You're gonna have to submit to your death, So you ain't, this is of the Lord, man. If the Lord has got you marked for death, you best believe death is gonna find you, just like that movie Final Destination, man. You're gonna receive your judgment. I just had to put that out there, man, because that goes over a lot of people's head, man.
All right, so I'm going to start from the top again, to verse 12. It says, therefore will I number you to the sword, and you shall all bow down to the slaughter, because when I called, you did not answer. When I spake, you did not hear, but did evil before mine eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. So again, instead of you following the ways of the Lord, you decided to do your own thing.
Christmas.
Yeah, exactly.
New Year.
Eating pork,
Yeah.
celebrating the holidays, the holidays, should I say, these pagan rituals, serving after other gods, being false accusers and all this other stuff. You did all the things where the Lord didn't delight in. The Lord didn't delight in those things that you were doing, right?
He says, I delight not in your solemn assemblies, your feast days.
Yeah, I despise your feast days.
You don't delight in that.
You don't delight in it. You know what I mean? You don't like it, right?
You said, I'm doing it for the kids.
Exactly. That's one of the excuses they use, is we're doing it for the kids.
Yeah.
It's not about the holidays. It's about being with family, all that.
Because a sinful man will not be reproved, but findeth an excuse according to his will.
Yeah, and a lot of you Christians did that. You know what I mean? Like during celebrating Christmas, celebrating New Year's, all that other stuff. All these Christians in the church would celebrate in that. That's one of their favorite holidays. That's why we know you haven't been chosen. right?
Yeah.
You ain't chosen. Yahweh Shai didn't choose you because you delight in things that the Lord don't delight in,
That's it.
right? Verse 13, it says, therefore, thus saith Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, behold, my servants, right? The elders, apostles, the like-minded brothers out here pushing the 100% truth, right? It says, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. So again, goes into the miracles, right? So the miracles, Habakkuk being taken from one part of, far away to straight to Daniel, and like, here you go, Daniel, it is a plate from, special delivery, you know what I mean? Like that was the first Uber Eats, you know what I mean? Spiritual heavenly Uber Eats, Daniel was eating good in that cell. It says, behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Yeah. So all those people are gonna be struggling, like, where are we gonna get water from? Man, I should have listened. They're gonna be searching for the men of the Lord, but they ain't gonna be able to find us because it's too late. It's like that spiritual ark. The Lord has closed that door. It wasn't Noah. I was about to say Moses. Then. It wasn't Noah that closed the door. It was the angel that closed the door. Yep. Right? It says, behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Right? It says, behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart. We're going to be praising the name of the Lord. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai.
Yeah.
We just screaming at the top of our lungs, right?
Yeah.
And it says, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit, because your spirit's going to be tore up from the flow up, beat up from the feet up. You're going to be like in a bad situation, because you're going to be like your spirit's going to be hurting.
And they're gonna be ashamed because they trusted in a system that let them down, man. They thought Trump was gonna save them and shit, man.
Yep.
Foolish people. They're gonna realize they were foolish during that time, man. And while the servants of the Lord are gonna be rejoicing, they're gonna be ashamed, man.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna leave it there, but that just goes to show you, if you have that faith, in the Lord gonna look after his people. He's gonna look after his servants.
Yeah.
Right. If you ain't serving the Lord, then you know what I mean. Would you offer, like, let's say, put it in like an example, right? If you were an employer and you had people in the field working your field, right? And then you got a group of people that just sat to the side, just not doing nothing all day. You got the servants that are actually doing the work, busting it out, as much as they can, doing the best they can to reap the harvest. And you got a whole group of people over here sat there doing nothing. When it's the end of the day, when it's time to get paid, you're gonna be like, I ain't paying you, ain't done nothing.
Yeah.
Why would I give you money for just sitting around on your phone all day, chewing bubble gum? You know what I mean? Like, come on now, be real. I'm gonna give your cut to them.
Yeah, man. We're walking. Hey, we're on the right path. We're walking through the straight gate, right? These other people, they got life easy. They receive benefits and have not known them, man.
There we go.
It says that in the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9. All right. Let me read this real quick. This is the book of
I just realized before you said that, I think the sun was supposed to go down already. It's quite light, because I think the sun goes down at like 4. I think it was like 4:30.
It is later than I expected it to be.
See, that's the spirit. Like, normally this time, right,
It's
where
dark.
we are, it'd be dark, it'd be pitch black. You wouldn't be able to see me, but the Lord's got it lit up out here, man.
Yeah, man. Edification coming out.
You can still see me on camera. Usually when it's dark, you
It's
can't
like
see
eyes
me.
and teeth in
I
the
know.
background.
Eyes and teeth, boy.
This is the book of Psalms 37 and 28, right? It says, for Yahweh loveth judgment and forsaketh not his saints. They are preserved forever, but the seed of the wicked shall be cut off. So basically, the point is that the Lord will preserve his saints, right? So to preserve means to be kept alive. And the scriptures do speak about how he'll keep you alive during famine, those that are pleasing the Lord, basically, in a nutshell, right? But when it speaks about his saints, I just want to show you who the saints are for those simple Christians and you people that think that salvation is for all nations. This is speaking to the Israelites. The Israelites are the saints, right? Let me read it from the top again. This is Psalms 37 and 28. For Yahweh loveth judgment and forsaketh not his saints. Meaning, he's going to come through for you, all right? They are preserved, kept alive forever, but the seed of the wicked shall be cut off. Now, that's ultimately talking about Esau Edom, because he's getting ready to go into extinction after after we get our hands around their throats and they serve us for 1,000 years. They're out of here. We have no more use for them once they build up the foundation of our kingdom, just like we built up the foundation of America. You know, not us personally, but you never know. Actually, we could have, you know, back in our former life, could have been in yokes of iron. Who knows? But the children of Israel built up the foundation of America and made America great for these Edomite devils. And they're getting ready to do the same for us. But ours is going to be an everlasting kingdom. The Lord ain't going to overthrow our kingdom like Sodom and Gomorrah, okay? Like what's getting ready to happen to America. But they steadily thinking Trump is going to make the Edomite savior is going to make America great again. Okay, yeah, we will see about that. Right, so the saints are the Israelites, right? Let me quickly turn to that. This is the book of Psalms 50 and 5. It says, gather my saints together unto me, those, and this is the point, this is speaking, this is who it's saying the saints are. It says, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. And that's why we say, Shalom to you brothers out there on the highways and hedges that are giving up your body as a living sacrifice, because that's the ones that have made covenant with the Lord by sacrifice. Okay, the servants of the Lord. And to be a servant of the Lord, you have to be an Israelite from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Let me quickly prove that. I wasn't going to do that, but I might as well, just to back up my point. Scriptures say prove all things, don't it?
Mhm.
So this
Thessalonians 5 and 21.
yeah, can. But this right here is the book of Romans, chapter 9, and I'm going to start at verse 3, right? And this is the book, the words of Apostle Paul, and he's going to explain to you who the servants are. And those are the saints, the ones that have made a covenant with the Lord by sacrifice. And the covenants was only given to the Israelites, okay? And this is going to prove that, so that it puts everything into perspective. You've got to connect the dots, right? Because the scriptures speak about through thy precepts we get understanding. This is how you get the understanding, by what they like to call cherry picking. We jump around a bit because that's how you get the understanding. You connect the dots. But these simple Christians can't wrap their head around that because it wasn't given to them to understand. So this is Romans 9 and 3. It says, for I wish that myself were accursed from Hamashiach for my brethren, my people basically, my kinsmen according to the flesh. Not spiritual. They're not spiritual Israelites. It's according to the seed, the physicality, the flesh. It says, who are Israelites, right? So he's letting you know that these are Israelites according to the seed. It says, to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants. So the covenants were only given to the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. You can't, listen, Christians will try to come up with all type of crap to try and overthrow this, but it says what it says, man. You can either believe it or get destroyed.
That's a cut to the Gentiles that can be grafted in.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
they can't. It's for the Israelites.
It says, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law, right? It's only given to the Israelites, and the service of the Most High. So you can't be a servant of the Lord if you're not an Israelite. And the promises, right? Which is the promises that were given to Abraham, that his seed would be blessed and that we would inherit the kingdom, man. It says, whose are the fathers and of whom concerning the flesh Hamashiach came. So the Lord only came for those that are Israelites of the flesh, of the seed. It doesn't mean that all Israel is of the seed is, you know, is gonna make it. That is it's gonna say that in a second. Let me just read on just for edification's sake, right? Let me start at 5 again, Romans 9 and 5. It says, whose are the fathers and of whom concerning the flesh Hamashiach came, who is over all, right? Because the Lord said that Deuteronomy 7 and 6, is it?
7 and 6, yeah.
Yeah.
7 and 6, I think 14 and 2.
Yeah.
Deuteronomy 14 and 2 as well.
Yeah. It says that we are above all, right? The nations that are upon the earth. So basically, we're superior to all other nations. We're the superior race. I mean, it's evident. You can just look and see that we dominate in everything we do. Who is over all, blessed forever. Amen. It says and this is the point, not as though the word of Yahweh have taken none effect, for they are not all Israel, which are of Israel. Just because you're of the seed of Abraham, don't mean you're the Israel of the Most High, because there's a difference. You have Israel as a nation, but you also have the Israel of the Most High, which is, you know, his chosen, his elect, you know, the ones that are going to make it. The rest of them are getting ready to cut off and die because they were born in vain. You can read that in 2nd Ezra 9 and 22, man. These people have no purpose of living but to, you know, be written for marked for destruction. Now, I just want to close out with 1 or 2 more precepts. One sec. You got anything you want to bring out?
I mean, again, just reiterating, if you're on the fence, like you're a Christian and you're just coming into this thing, you know, the time is short, basically. Like, repent and seek the Lord while you still have that opportunity, you know.
Yeah.
I always want to make that abundantly clear. Like, this is serious times. Your salvation depends on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, if the Lord hasn't chosen you, then you ain't gonna get it anyway. But if you're here watching these lessons, then hey, consider yourself, you know, being the sheep that's hearing the voice. You know,
Yeah,
hearing the voice of the Lord.
You're in a very privileged position, and you
Yeah.
have a higher chance of making it than these other people. And trust me, you're gonna be thankful when you see the Lord doing these miracles for you, knowing that you're of the chosen during that time when everyone else is catching hell, man. You're gonna be rejoicing and singing for joy. You're gonna be praising the name of the Lord in that day, man. Because it's gonna be worth it. Whatever we gotta go through is gonna be worth it in the end, man. This is Isaiah 66 and 5. Hey, the water. It says, because now it's starting to get dark. It says, hear the word of Yahweh, ye that tremble at his word. So us that, you know, are sorting out our salvation with fear and trembling by doing these lessons, man. As it says in Philippians 2 and 12, you know, we're working out our salvation with fear and trembling. So this is speaking to us in this congregation, man, us among the living. So it says, hear the word of Yahweh, ye that tremble at his word, your brethren that hated you and cast you out for my name's sake, because they come under the name Jesus, where it says all nations can be saved. God is just love, right? They love a good old Christian. But when we come under the name Yahushua and tell them that Edomites are the damn devil that the Bible speaks of, we're racist, or now we're racist. Now we're hate preachers, you know? And it'll be your own family that you try to wake up that is going to be your foes, man. Man's foes are them, their own household, you know? Let me read that again. Right, I'll read it from the top again. Salakia. This is Isaiah 66 and 5. Hear ye the word of Yahweh, ye that tremble at his word. So this is speaking to the elect. It says, your brethren meaning your old people, your old friends, your brethren that hated you and cast you out for my name's sake, said, let Yahweh be glorified. So they think the Lord is dealing with them. They're like, praise the Lord, praise Jesus, right? All in the Christian church, man. This is their mindset. They think they think they love the Lord. They think the Lord is doing them, dealing with them, because they think that by hating you, coming up against this true gospel, they're doing the Lord's work. You know, it says, but he shall appear to your joy and they shall be ashamed. So when the Lord cracks that sky, they're going to be like, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. How is he numbered among the children of the Lord, and his lot is among the saints? Just like it says in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5. They're going to be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they looked for, man. Because they were looking for sweet white Jesus to crack the sky, coming down with his flowing golden hair, silky hair, blue eyes, with a toga on, looking like Thor. But they're going to be sadly mistaken, man, and amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, right? So that's the point, you know. The Lord is going to come to our joy, and they're going to be ashamed, right? Because they didn't listen, they didn't believe us, or they didn't believe the Lord and the words of the Lord that were coming through us, because it wasn't given to them to understand, man. So I had to bring that out. I got one more book I want to bring out in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, and I think we'll close this out because it's getting quite dark, and I really wanted to bring this out. So it's in the Apocrypha. Let me grab that. Wisdom of Solomon. What was it? Chapter 3. So this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3. Yeah. Right. Check this out. I'm gonna close this lesson out with this, right? Let you marinate. Let this marinate, right? Wisdom of Solomon 3. I'm gonna start at 1. It says, but the souls of the righteous are in the hand of the Most High, and there shall no torment touch them. The Lord going to be with us during these times, man, we're coming into, right? So fear none of those things you're getting ready to suffer, right? It says, in the sight of the unwise, they seem to die. So all these 2/3 out here that aren't a part of this, they wanted to do their own thing. So in the sight of them, we're boring, you know, we don't celebrate Christmas. We don't celebrate birthdays. We don't do this. We don't do that. You know, we're boring, man. We ain't like we used to be. You know, I want the old Otis back. He was fun. So in the sight of the unwise, because they're unwise, and the Lord loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom, the scriptures say, right? So in the sight of these 2/3, we seem to die, and their departure is taken for misery. Right? So they think that, you know, we're miserable because we don't do the things. We don't have the fun we used to have with them anymore. They think our life is miserable, right? It says, and they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace. You know, our mind is set free. We know the path we're on. We know the purpose. We know our purpose in life, and we're at peace. We ain't got to worry about the you know, we obviously got to work at 9 to 5s and all this stuff, but we're good. We're at peace, man, because we know where we're headed. It says, for though they be punished in the sight of man, yet is their hope full of immortality. Because during this time of persecution, man, where we can't buy or sell without taking Esau's crafty device, right? Our digital enslavement, right? We're going to be reduced to a lower state. Scriptures say, be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. So that's us being punished in the sight of men. It says, yet is their hope full of immortality. All right. We ain't doing this for no reason, man. There's a happy ending at the end of this, immortality. It says, and having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded. So great reward and glory is coming to us that know what we're doing, man, that we know the path we're on. And we walk we're 10 toes down for this walk, man. They shall be greatly rewarded, for the Most High proved them and found them worthy of himself. As gold in the furnace have he tried them and received them as a burnt offering, meaning a sacrifice, man, a living sacrifice. Because, you know, when we're catching hell, we're basically proving to the Lord how much we love him through our actions, man, not just with our words. It says, and in the time of their visitation, they shall shine, meaning that's when we receive our glory. It says, and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. So basically, when we get them new bodies in the time of our visitation, you know, when we get them new bodies, we'll be zipping around with power like sparks among the stubble. Zip, 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 zip. We're going to be upgraded, man. It says, they shall judge the nations and have dominion over the people, and their Lord Yahushua shall reign forever. See? So we ain't going to have an evil ruler over us anymore, Esau, Edom. We're going to have Yahushua come and set things in order and establish righteousness in the earth, man. Okay? Anyway, I think we'll close out there then. Lord willing, you've been edified through this lesson, all right? You know, and hopefully it's motivated you to understand that, you know what I mean, great glory is coming for his elect and them that put their trust in him, man. The Lord is going to do miracles to make sure you're all right in this time of famine that's coming upon us, all right? Because that time is close. But you ain't got to fear those things, all right? Even if you're put in prison, which some of you will be, put in concentration camps or whatever, don't worry about that, because the Lord is, divine intervention is going to happen, man. The scriptures did say in the book of Daniel chapter 1 that, you know, during that time that Michael the archangel shall stand for the children of thy people, man. So hey, we got the angels and campeth around about us, just like I brought out earlier, man. So don't worry about none of them things, man. Glory is coming, all right? So on that note, man, Lord willing, you've been edified. The water for tuning in. We're going to close it out here. Give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Hashem, Rakah, Kudah. Right. Shalom.
Shalom,
Shalom. Shalom.